Why rich people never save money. Like you do. Imagine waking up with $100 million. Would you put it in a savings account? Most people would. The richest people rarely do. In fact, many billionaires keep surprisingly little cash. Not because they don't like money, because cash is often the least powerful thing they can own. That sounds backwards. After all, isn't money supposed to sit safely in a bank? For most people, yes. For the wealthy, money is only useful when it's working, and that's where the biggest financial divide begins. A dollar sitting in a bank does almost nothing. A dollar invested can quietly grow for decades. This difference isn't just about earning more. It's about understanding what money actually is. To most people, money is security. To the wealthy, it's a tool. That single mindset changes everything. Take inflation. If inflation averages around 3% a year, money slowly loses purchasing power. Leave $1 million untouched for decades and it buys far less than it once did. The number stays the same, its value doesn't. Now imagine owning part of a business instead. As prices rise, many businesses can raise their own prices too. Their profits often grow alongside inflation. So instead of losing value, the investment may keep pace or even outgrow it. That's why many wealthy investors prefer assets over cash, but that's only the beginning. The truly wealthy often own companies, stocks, real estate, farmland, infrastructure, or intellectual property. These assets can produce income while also increasing in value, even while they sleep. It's called making money work, and it's one of history's most powerful wealth-building ideas. Consider Warren Buffett. Despite being one of the world's wealthiest people, the vast majority of his fortune has long been tied to shares of Berkshire Hathaway rather than sitting as personal cash. His wealth grew because the businesses he owned grew, not because a bank paid interest. The same pattern appears again and again. Entrepreneurs build companies, investors buy productive assets, property owners collect rent, creators earn royalties. Each asset has the potential to generate more money over time. Cash alone usually doesn't. But here's where things become even more surprising. Many wealthy people don't sell their investments when they need money. Instead, they borrow against them. At first, that sounds strange. Why take a loan if you're already rich? Because selling valuable assets can trigger taxes and end future growth. Borrowing allows them to access cash while continuing to own investments that may appreciate over time. Of course, borrowing also carries risks. If investments lose value or debt becomes too large, it can create serious financial problems. This strategy is generally available only to people with substantial assets and careful financial planning. So why don't more people do the same? Because building assets comes first. Most families need cash for rent, food, healthcare, transportation, and emergencies. Keeping savings available is often the smartest decision. Financial security always comes before investing aggressively. The wealthy aren't ignoring savings. They're operating from a different stage. Once basic needs and emergency reserves are covered, additional money can be directed toward productive assets. That shift changes how wealth grows. History repeatedly demonstrates this pattern. Industrialists invested in factories. Railroad owners invested in transportation. Technology founders built software. Modern investors buy businesses, renewable energy projects, data centers, and global stock markets. The specific assets change. The principle remains remarkably consistent. Own things that produce value, not just things that store value. There's also a psychological reason this works. Humans naturally prefer certainty. Watching cash sit safely in an account feels comfortable. Investing feels uncertain. Our brains often value immediate safety more than long-term growth. Behavioral economists call this loss aversion. People generally fear losing money more than they enjoy gaining it. The wealthy aren't fearless. They simply learn to manage calculated risk. They understand that avoiding every risk can create a different danger: the slow erosion of purchasing power. Over decades, that invisible force can quietly reduce wealth. Perhaps the biggest lesson isn't that rich people avoid banks. They still use banks every day. The difference is what stays there. Banks are where money waits. Assets are where money grows. That single distinction explains why two people earning similar incomes can end up with dramatically different levels of wealth years later. One stores money, the other gradually builds ownership, and ownership has shaped fortunes throughout human history. The next time you look at a bank balance, remember this. The wealthiest people don't ask, "How much money do I have?" They ask, "How much of my money is working while I sleep?"